If you guys need any cards, packs, sleeves, anything of that nature, shop on TCG Player using my affiliate link in the description. Other day, a viewer sent me a deck list that they wanted to look at, and I forgot to respond, so to make up for that, I decided to use it in an episode of Deck Doctor. Now, this probably looks pretty similar to something I've played maybe once or twice on the channel, which is the, like, Gemini Spark deck with Gear Town, because Gear Town lets you summon Ancient Gear Knight, which is a Gem Spark target. I think it's a pretty cool interaction. So this is the exact list that they sent me. They got the Machina package in there because the Gear Town stuff is machines, and then just like Hero Beat stuff. They're on decrees. They're on one honest, which I thought was pretty weird. And then triple Book of Moon since they're on decrees, and a bunch of staples. The other field spell is Skyscraper. One really cool thing about the hero stuff with the Gear Town stuff is you can just like tutor out a field spell with the hero engine with like E-Call into Stratos into Gold Search Skyscraper, which is really sick, really awesome. So yeah, this is the deck we're gonna be messing with today. Let's look at the first replay. All right, so I was playing their list for this replay, and I think the opponent was playing Reptilian, which we played against. I think the other player I was playing Chaos Fairy, so a couple of Carpath fans that we ran into. Extremely based individuals. Here, I mean, it's obvious he has offerings. Generally, when I play this deck, I never do this, or I just like summon guard. It just like is way obvious. And yeah, so I just do the summon hit over because I know they can't offerings that. And then offerings isn't really a problem with this hand because we can stop it with Decree or Book of Moon or whatever. But what is a problem is our few getting MST'd, because now we can't get Fortress into rotation. So they creature swap and smack into me. And here I think I made a misplay. Because they summoned Vasky main too, which honestly they shouldn't have even done this way. They probably should have just set Naga, but they decided to do it this way. I could have just activated Skyscraper and hit and then decreed this. But instead I end up using my Book of Moon instead of my Decree. So I think I would have rather had the Book of Moon in the long game here. And maybe I shouldn't have hit into the set monster. Although I don't know. Because there's like a lot of non-Naga things it could have been. And, I mean, I didn't know that it was main deck multiple Naga necessarily. It's clear his build was like different from mine. So we get kind of screwed over there. We have to use Skyscraper to hit over this. We drew the second Decree, which is really not good. And now we're just like dying. We're just dying at this Kais because we have no cards. We can't. This card doesn't do anything. This card doesn't do anything. That card doesn't do anything. Like all four of our cards do nothing. So we go to game number 2. And I do think we just lost this game to Sidra or something, if I'm remembering correctly. I might have made a slight misplay later on in this game too. I definitely made one in game 1 with using the Book of Moon instead of the Decree. I think the Book of Moon turned out being more valuable than the Royal Decree was there. So here everything's going pretty well. The fact that they have Sidra is super scary though. And we're going to get punished hard here because maybe here I should have just summoned one fortress instead of 2 fortresses maybe. But I think if we didn't clear all those tokens, then we were just going to die to Fortress Dragon creature swap anyway, right? Or like maybe we would have been on 200 health or something. I don't know. Depends on whether we equipped or not, I guess. But yeah. We do die there to Fortress Dragon creature swap anyway, so maybe there was actually no way I could do it. I don't know. It was rough. It was a rough one because, yeah, here they can still just make Fortress creature swap with this. And if I'd left the token there, they could have Fortress creature swapped. I guess if I'd summoned one Fortress and then not equipped Gear Frame. Or maybe if I did equip Gear Frame. No, wait, I'm still dead to Sidra creature swap. Yeah, I don't know. There's actually just no way I wasn't going to get OTK'd this next turn. Well, from half health anyway. So, I don't think there's anything I could do there. In hindsight, the only misplay I really made was in game number 1 there, I think. But yeah, this is my updated version of the list. First of all, I bumped it up to 2 honest because, I don't know, 1 honest just felt weird. I'm just like, let's go 2 honest and play the Cyber Dragons. Well, the first thing I thought when I looked at this list was like, Minefield Driller, yes, but then I talked to myself out of it. I'm like, all right, we got to be faithful here and just make it Machina hero beat field spell stuff. So we went with Sydra's and Double Honest, and then I also threw in Peacekeeper. You could maybe cut that one, but I don't know. It's weird. I really do like these Machina ratios in like the non-avarice version of like 1-1 of each of these guys, but it's kind of up for debate there. We went to 1-1 on these two. I feel like that's kind of what you can get away with. You don't want to be playing like a bajillion Geartown targets, and we can afford to cut. We still have the same number of machines basically. Actually, I think we have one more machine because we added in 1, 2, 3, and we took out 2. So we added another fortress too, and but we did cut a Gadgetron. So I think it's the same number of machines. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I took out decrees and just played the good trap cards. I feel like that's probably better. I mean, what do you really need decree for in here? You're not doing anything that nuts. So, and then I think the spells we left pretty much the same. And the side might be a little different. I don't know. I have weird side deck preferences. I definitely took out some of the stuff from the extra deck because the original version had like multiple ab zeros, and it's just like, what is all this stuff here for? We only have one future fusion. It's the only thing. There are no miracles. Maybe there was a previous build that had miracles, and it was like a holdover from that I could kind of see, but I really think this is even a lot of fusions for a deck that's just playing few, but the fact that we're not playing like any tuners means we can probably get away with minimal synchros. So this is the sort of revised version that I came up with real quick on the spot. Okay, this is the replay. Like I mentioned, we're playing against another based individual, a Carpath fan, playing Chaos Fairies. So he ended up banishing the Caius here. I would have banished the Sork, probably. I would think Fate or Caius is something you want to keep together. He does set the Torrential behind the Dim Elk, which is not bad. Of course, you can't really Torrential here because it will miss timing. And it's not that high value of a Torrential anyway. So yeah, I think what I would have done is just like banished the Sork, held onto the Caius, and then gotten the Sork back. So I would have had a Caius in my hand instead of this Enrise. Although the Enrise eventually gets summoned, so maybe it wasn't the worst. Here I'm thinking what this back row can be, and like, hasn't been Dust Shoot, so it's either Decree, in which case it does nothing, or it's RFDD, in which case I'm going to lose the game eventually, or it's Torrential Tribute, in which case I need to force out Torrential Tribute, so that's what I did. Then we go for the Gear Town into the big boy, but it gets fated. He could have gorged this. And I would have died to Brain Control. Right? 3,003, yeah, that's 87. Interesting. And yeah, if you had the Caius in here, you would also had Brain Caius now too. I don't know. They make a weird play. They tribute some Christia. We do remember to banish this Fader, I think. I don't Torrential because we just have the out right here. They definitely should have Herald of Oranged me there. I would have, like, lost the game. I mean, unless they played real bad into my Torrential. So here I get Herald of Oranged, and then we summon Gadgetron. Wow, I'm just, like, realizing how badly we would be losing this duel if my opponent played a little bit differently. So we go set a bunch of things. Here, I maybe made a mistake hitting over the Gores because that made the Enrise live. But it's like, I'm either going to lose a card one way or another, so... Although getting the Gadgetron banished is probably bad, but we're, like, out of Gear Towns anyway. Even if we draw another one, we're out of field spells to set over it. So here we, okay, so we searched the last Gear Town, but like I said, we can't really do anything with this. It's just a dead card, essentially. Only doing this to thin our deck. We use the Skyscraper to out the Enrise. We go for the Gem Spark on the Set Monster, but we're still getting walled by this 19 token. So he Caiuses my Skyscraper. And we get the Torrential, so a nice trade for him there. He goes Sork to push. He probably shouldn't have done this. Although maybe he feels like he's just going to die if he doesn't do this. But I feel like I would just risk it and hold on to the Sork. Actually, he would have died, though. He pretty much dies anyway. It is just a lose-lose situation for the opponent. So here we don't attack because we're afraid of Battle Recruiter, but it's actually a Dim Elk, and probably should have attacked because we get Caiused here, and it's actually quite bad. We're going to really low life. Man, this game ended up being super close. But then we top deck, we summon another Fortress, and the opponent draws a Valley, but we can Fortress that off, so pretty good. Game number 1. A lot of wild things going on there, actually. It's a pretty intense tense back and forth. Opponent goes set Raikou, which is definitely a good play because I would never assume it's set Raikou, and against this deck there's only one of that. So I just didn't attack because, like, I'm feeling it's a battle recruiter. A lot of situations you could maybe get away with setting Sangan turn 1 and then tributing for Caius because people will just assume it's a battle recruiter. We go for E-Call into this to search Skyscraper just so I don't have too many cards in my hand so I can set the field spell. Maybe he'll think it's Gear Town and he won't pop it too. So he does Raikou it, yeah. Might as well. I mean, could, even if it is Gear Town, it'll miss timing, so. Yep. Alright, we draw. I space the back row. Again, I think the only thing it could really be that I have to worry about is Torrential. I guess I was playing around Dust Shoot by summoning this first, because I really didn't want this kid to get Dust Shooted. So I wanted to summon this and then space it in case it was some mind game Dust Shoot thing. So that's what we did. And I think we go summon Fortress here. Yeah. And we're feeling pretty good. We got 2 Honest backing up this Alias. We got Fortress, we got Gemspark. All is well. He Sorks. And here, I maybe should have popped the back row. Because this deck doesn't actually play a whole ton of outs to the Decree. And we get, like, kind of stuck under Decree here with multiple trap cards. He probably should have waited to flip this, but whatever. So we're just, like, chilling. I didn't hit over this at first because as long as he has something on his field, it becomes inefficient for him to summon Cyber Dragon. Although I guess he could just summon something, banish, draw 2, summon Cyber Dragon anyway. But at least makes him do something. So yeah, the annoying boy shows up. We've been Fortress twice in one video, what can I say? Fortunately we draw the Terraforming, so we get to go for the Gear Towns. And then I think this is lethal. This is just straight up lethal with the Machina Fortress. So we hit over 1,000, hit in for 25, hit in for 18, and the opponent's actually dead. No Fader, no Trag, no anything. Well, Trag's in the graveyard, no Fader. So we actually just randomly get to game shot there with our... As soon as this didn't get orange lighted, we basically knew we had it. I guess Fader too. If they had had a Fader or an orange light, actually they could have lived, but they just unfortunately didn't. So I felt it was right to go for it there, and that is game number 2, or match number 2 with my version of the list. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Furthermore, if you enjoy my content, you should think about becoming a channel member. You get access to tons of bonus content, and it's a great way to help support the channel.